Alright, here we have video 3. Now things are going to get pretty tough. This is going to be one of the hardest things you're going to learn. You have to learn the chromatic scale. And the reason why is you have to learn all the keys so that you know how to solo. So you need them all written out in front of you. So if I tell you that key of E, you have to try to understand why I'm saying use the D major scale, the G, or the C. Well, you have to know the C major scale and all the chords and all the relationships. You know, you have to know that E minor is the third, is on the third chord. And if you're in a G, the E minor is the sixth. If you're in D, E minor is the 2. So this is a real pain in the ass, but you have to get this. I mean, you can order it, you can write it out, I don't care, but you have to have this sitting in front of you when I'm talking to you about major scales. Okay, so there's 12 notes in music, but these 12 notes, a bunch of them have different names. You know, you're not going to use all of them. But when you take a chromatic scale, the C chromatic scale, starting at C, and then you hit all these notes going up, you know, you hit all 12 in a row, you're going to have a different name if you start up here and go backwards. When you go up, all these black keys are going to have sharps. They're going to be called sharp, which means a half step above the note. So if you have a C here, the next note's going to be a C sharp. If you have a D here, the next note's going to be a D sharp. You have an E here, the next note's going to be considered an E sharp, which is rare. You're not going to see that. But then you go to an F, then you have an F sharp, which you'll see a lot. G sharp, you won't see too often, thank God. A, and an A sharp. Then you have a B, and the B, which is a B sharp is a C. Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, going back down, it's flat, like a flat tire. So flat means a half step lower than the note name. So you have a C flat, believe it or not, is a B. Ridiculous. B, this note here, B flat, half step. Then you're down to an A, then an A flat. You're going to be playing a lot of songs in B flat and A flat, yeah. You have a G, goes down to a G flat. You're not going to see that too often. Again, thank God. Then you have an F and F flat, which you're never going to see, but it's an E. Then you have an E to an E flat, which you're going to see a lot. D flat, you're going to see somewhat, and then you're down to a C. So I'm going to tell you the ones that you're going to see a lot that you have to have written out in front of you. Of course, the C. C sharp, not too often. C sharp or D flat, not too often, but still, especially in Motown, they do a lot of stuff in C sharp, so you need to have that scale written out. And because you have the formula, you know how to do it, or you can buy these things. They have little round circles and they'll tell you what's going on. D sharp, you're not going to see, but you will see E flat a lot. Have your E flat scale written out. Then your E scale, obviously a lot. F, a lot. F sharp, yeah, okay, which is also G flat. The reason I'd rather see F sharp than G flat is I don't ever want to see a C flat, and that's what's going to show up if you're playing in G flat, you know, because F sharp, your fourth is going to be the B. I can relate to that. Then you got your G, okay, which is A flat. Well, G sharp you won't see too often, but you see A flat, okay, a lot. So you have to have your A flat scale written out, your A scale written out. That's going to go A sharp, but actually it's B flat. You want your B flat scale written out, okay? You won't see B too often, but it would be nice to have that written out. But then to your C. And then remember when I was showing you these chromatics, I said there's chromatics. What's going to happen, you know, all these notes, all these 12 notes are going to end up being used in the solos. A lot of guys use just a 5-note blues thing, and they play over everything with that, or they play just a major scale, which is 7. You got 5 notes that are very workable here. Okay, so when I play an E, you know, like say I'm playing that E minor thing, I can also there's you know, it's not in the scale, but you can use it as a passing tone. You know, I use that a lot, which is like an F sharp. That's not in there, but it sounds good as passing. Okay? And then there's a thing that all the jazz guys do, which is you take the root, like if you're in E minor, you go E and then E flat to D. So I'm going to show you eventually how to use all these little chromatic things, so when you take a solo, you're using all the 12 notes. And my ear has gotten to the point when I hear a guy and all he uses 5 notes and he hasn't done his homework, he hasn't tried to expand on everything. When you use 12, it's infinite possibilities. You know, so that's what I want to hear when I hear a guy play. Not all the time, but all the bebop jazz guys do it the flatted fifth over dominant seventh. So any kind of dominant seventh, like in the key of G, I told you there's one dominant seventh, which is a G seventh. So they'll be playing a G, like a G note or something, but they'll go to a C sharp and then they'll resolve it to a D. You know, it's kind of it's a flatted fifth concept over that. Well, if you use that over a minor chord, then you get the major seventh, like what I was telling you about. You know. And it's actually, the chord is, if I could ever get my thing together. Anyway, I haven't played this chord in a long time. It's an E minor with a major seventh on top. There it is. So that's where we're going with that. So anyway, you have to have all your major scales sitting in front of you, so that when I start telling you, like in this next segment, when I pull up Easy Lover, you're gonna understand when I say there's these two chords and they only happen once. The relationship between them, like there's a minor chord next to a half step next to a major seventh chord that's a half step above it. That only happens once in a key. So if I tell you that it's an E minor to an F major seventh, you're going to be able to look at your scales and go, oh, I see E minor to an F major seventh. That's a C major scale. And that's what I'm going to use. And that's what you have to know. You know, it's all in my head now because it's been around for a long time. But you have to have it written out and then start trying this stuff out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, on to number 4.